Hey, it's John-Marc and welcome to today's lesson on teaching you how to draw cartoons in 3 easy steps. Well, today is Friday and it's that time to reveal that mystery pop art cartoon that I'm working on. You might be wondering which one it was. Well, how do you find out which one next week or what this current one that I've been working on? Go to my YouTube channel and look at the comments in the community area, and then you'll actually see a little silhouette of this little guy. And you know who he is. He's one of the guys from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's right. So what I do from this point on, this lesson, is I'm actually showing you how I take step 1 of what I do to step 3 and to my final step. Wait, you don't know what I mean by the steps? If you have been watching my YouTube channels on how to draw cartoons, you would understand my first step is like a real rough sketch. The second one is a little bit tighter. And the third one is even tighter, kind of combining the technique into the final version of the drawing that you can use in any of your illustrations that you're working on. So, well, let's begin the lesson and watch, and I'm just going to share some things that I've been working on and why I did this character or for whatever reason, but got some very interesting, insightful about these guys you might not know. Well, you'll learn now. All right, so let's begin. I got my Cookie Monster little glove on and I got my little pen. So I'm going to be working on the basic face right now. Why the face again? It's just an easy beginning point. And it's just something that I thought, hey, let's work on the face. Here we go. All right, and the eyes. This is a similar one that I have done with all the other pop arts where I try to make a perfect circle head. And I would use that in Illustrator too. The actual tool to create the perfect head, perfect circle head. All right, so now I'm just going to quickly just go around the head. The circle may not be perfect right now, but if I bring it into Illustrator, I'll create the sphere, the circle, to go all the way around with the tool. Make sure that it is a nice sharp line. So in this case, it's more like just get the drawing sketched out, and then when I'm in Illustrator or in Photoshop for that matter, I can then take it and finish it up with the inking, which I like to do, because if you make a mistake traditionally, it's not as forgiving as working on the computer. All right, so there I just have the basic shape of the head. And sometimes I might have more than 2 lines in it. Sometimes I might just get that action line. So when I'm drawing, I have my hand which way I feel more comfortable to go, like the top of his bandanas here, you'll see here. Let's bring that down a little bit lower here. So when I do, it kind of feels free in that case. So my hand is really good. I can come down on this side, makes it easier. Okay, I might have to turn just a little bit maybe to get this one. So I'm rotating my shoulders occasionally, but like this corner here, it's going to be a little bit, let's just rotate, make it easier. I like it like this. It feels better for me. Whatever makes it easier for you to get that line really sharp and clean, just rotate. That's me. You might have a different feeling or whatever, but that's cool. I'm just sharing how I actually like, and this kind of feels like when I was doing animation as well. All right, so I'm just using my little hand over here to move the picture around. Okay, let's work on his body right now, getting his shoulders. Well, a little thing about the turtles and everything, I had some insight. A good friend of mine, Paul Casilion, he actually did some writing for some of the comic books and some of their toys for some merchandising and everything. He's a great guy. Anyways, I was actually getting interviewed on a TV station up north, and he got me the interview, so we both went over to the TV station, and as we were going to the TV station, he goes, hey, you want to stop by the studio where the guys created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And I'm like, what? Really? I'm like, yeah, why not? So I actually got the chance to actually see the studio with it. Nobody was there at the time to actually see where the creators actually worked at that time. And it was really cool. It was a fun thing to being able to stop over there and say, yeah, I actually got a chance to see where the turtles were actually created. All right. Oh, you like video games as much as I did? Well, do. So actually, I actually worked at a video game company in New Jersey, and we were making a lot of different types of video games for Super Nintendo, Genesis, and a lot of the old ones from the 90s. But here's the interesting thing. We had a guest that came in there that was actually videotaping some of his new TV series that he was working on. It was called Hard Axis, I believe it was. And it was Michael Tremont Warner from The Cosbys. He actually came in there, and we got to meet him, and we actually met the MC who was actually working on the actual show with him. And he just happened to be this dude from the original movie series, from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. He was actually one of the guys in the costumes that was in it. It was so cool. So not only did I get the chance to see the studio, but I got a chance to meet one of the actual characters from the movie at that time. It was pretty cool. Anyway, so back to the drawing. So when I do here, when I'm getting closer and closer to the finishing of the character, what I like to do at times is make sure that I have the lines clean. If they're not so clean, I can come back again. But understandingly, if I had to hand this off to another artist, because not always do you do the pencil, ink, and coloring, you have different people. So somebody might do the pencil, someone might be doing the ink and coloring. So I want to make sure my lines would be clear and accurate, that who's ever inking it's not going to call me or email me like, say, dude, like, I don't understand your visual lines here. They're not clean. I can't follow them. So as a penciler with the final one, you want to make sure they're kind of clean to make it easier for the next person to work off of it. Like if it's you, you kind of know what you're trying to portray. But if it's somebody else that's working on it, you may just want to make sure that the lines that you currently are working on are something that they can actually represent and trade off of, because it is tricky. I've been there many times, and I'm trying to figure out somebody, what's this line, or what does this shape represent? So make it as easy as possible with the lines. In this case, this is just a thumbnail right now. Again, this isn't the final one in any ways. So this is just to explain to you the process from step 1, step 2, and the final step again, as always. But then, as I shared just moments ago, is how you actually need to make sure that you make it easier for the next person that's going to work on it, or needs to represent if it's a model sheet. So you got to be really cautious and careful on your drawings to make sure they're really clean. Anyway, so that's the fun part. As you can see here, I'm working on his legs, rotating, moving my mouse. I'm working off of Photoshop right now with a brush that I actually download online that kind of gives you the feel of a lead mechanical pencil. I never have to sharpen this one. That's right. Yeah. And then sometimes what you can do to help the artist along, you have other sketches, or you write notes on there and you explain them on another piece of paper. So when they pick up on the drawing that they're working on, they'd be like, oh, that's what this was trying to do. So you try to make it as easy as possible again. I'm just about done with this one. As you can see, they take me a couple minutes, 10 minutes. This is, again, not in any way clean or finished. This is just kind of tighter than my step 2 and the third one. And it could be, I could take this from this point on and ink it as well. But I want to make sure that since I'm the penciler, I kind of know what I'm looking for. It makes it easier for that purpose. But I might, if I'm doing this for another project for somebody, I would be doing this a lot slower and tighter to make sure that the lines are going to be representing the best for that particular character or story. All right, there we go. I think we're just about done. And when I look at it, sometimes what I might like to do is shade in some areas, or represents dark areas like the mouth that there. In this case here, I could even done with the eyes on here, the belt buckle here. It's just like a belt buckle, so you can distinguish too. These are like the straps over here, so I could maybe just do a little light one here. And when I do a little light, I don't push as hard as a pencil, and it's kind of neat. It kind of gives that same effect as if it was a mechanical pencil, which I like. And just open them up, and then like that's his hands here. Those are like the gloves here, wrapping on there, on his knees here. So it's like these are the wraps around his legs and his arms here. So you might want to make sure that people might know, like his mask. So let me just do that really quick. So you can see his head would be green and this mask would be actually blue. And from that point on, you kind of can see that this is really quick again. So you can see how that would actually, see how that changed it actually, having the actual mask, just pencils. I just like quickly tone it down. And here, let me do the straps on the outside. Got to do that because that's part of the mask still. There we go. And on the other top part here, dun dun dun, there we go, separating. Anyways, so I think this is good enough to explain the techniques and the style when I'm working on, and some new tips and explanation of when you're working on artists. You may not be the only one working on it, so make sure you make it easier or very explicit that the other person picking up is going to have an easy time to take off. So they may not be next to you, so you can't explain everything. So make sure you're fair to the upcoming artist. Anyways, I'm rattling on. So I just wanted to say thanks for checking out this video, and as always, have a great day.